President of the United States Air Force, and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your husband's honorable and faithful service.
We're going to do the ritual of tearing. If you'll repeat after me, there's a blessing that we recite, and then we'll make the tear. So if you'll repeat after me, first in Hebrew and then English. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam Dayan Ha'emet. Blessed are you, Lord our God, the judge of truth. And then we'll make the tear. If you want us to make it for you, you can do it yourself. We'll open our service as we recall with great affection Dr. Edward Friedman, Eddie, or Papi, as he was known, with the traditional words from our Psalms. Beginning in Psalm 23, I will read it in the Hebrew, and then you're welcome to join with me. The Lord is my shepherd. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo aksar bino deshe yarbitzeni al me menochot yana leni. Nafshi yeshovev yamcheni b'magle tzarek leman shemo. Gam ki elach b'geit samavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Shiftacha mishantecha hemi yanachamuni. Tagol lefanai shulchan neged sorai. Tishanta v'shemen roshi kosi revaya. Aktov v'chesed yerdafuni kol yamei chayai. V'shapti v'veit Adonai le'orech yamim. And in the English, the Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This morning, on the last day of Hanukkah, when our menorahs are full blaze, when the lights are the brightest that they are, we say goodbye to our friend, to a beloved husband, to a beloved father, a beloved grandfather, a beloved son, a beloved brother, a beloved uncle, friend, and doctor, Edward Friedman. The lights, though they may extinguish at some point of the Chanukiah of the menorah, they still burn. They burn bright. That full menorah, and that's what we remember from last night. And today, as we gather to remember Eddie, his 88 years of love, of laughter, of kindness, a life well lived, will be remembered with that joy like the joy of Hanukkah. He's departed from this world, leaving a good name, returning back home in peace at the age of 88, leaving behind many in mourning, his beloved wife Honey, the apples of his eye, his children, Natalie, Jonathan, and Matthew, and Hallie, the diamonds in his crown, his grandchildren, Evan and Dylan, his sisters, Linda and Martin, and Carol and Robert, and Eddie now joins his parents of blessed memory, Frank and Ida, and all those who have gone before in heaven. Today we have a special family tribute from his daughter, Natalie.
So Eddie, can you hear her? This is good.
Yeah.
So if someone asks you, who was Eddie Friedman? The answer is impossible. There's like no such specific answer if someone asks you, who was this person? Eddie was like a lifetime of so many different chapters. He lived through so many eras that are the history books. He lived through the Great Depression. He lived through the Air Force and so on. And he loved so much to share stories. But he also loved to make up stories to me and Jonathan when he was reading the fortune and the fortune cookies when he would go for Chinese and Hurrahs. And he was hilarious because we believed his stories. Eddie had so many accomplishments in being an optometrist, in being a musician, and so on. Just so much to me. Jonathan and I met Eddie in 1991, and he was on his way over to pick up Mom for the first date out. He was someone you instantly connected with because of his big smile, even if we just met him. And he came in with like a leather jacket on, and he drove a little sports car at that time, which was like a little blue Jaguar. Even though it kept breaking down, though, and it looks really awesome. Eddie, thank you for fiercely stepping into all of our lives. Thank you for marrying my mom. Thank you for sharing a lifetime with her. Thank you for being a father to me, Jonathan, and Matthew. Thank you for loving all of our dogs and our cats. Also, thank you for keeping your friendships last so long since childhood. He keeps in touch with his friends since kindergarten, which is amazing, and with everyone he knows at the GCC. So, here's to you, Eddie. I know you are watching us when you sit back in a chair with a good coffee and a nice good book, and you can finally be at peace. Oh, one last thing I don't want to forget to say to Eddie is that Mom has today's newspaper for you, and we could play chess tonight because he taught me how to play chess. We look forward to keeping your stories alive in books and in our conversations. May your memory be a forever blessing. Love you.
Psalm 121. Shir malot esayin el harim me'ayin yavo ezri me'im Adonai osei shamayim va'aretz ayitein lamod raglecha ayanum Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha, Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka, ve'yareach balayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikora, yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeidcha uvoecha. Me'ata ve'ad olam.
I'm going to share a note from Rabbi David Gelfand, who is a family rabbi now at Temple Israel of the city of New York. I hasten to send these heartfelt words of condolence on learning of Eddie's passing. How the seasons and years have flown by, and you were surely enriched by him. As you shared the decades together with him as a beloved, caring husband and best friend, as well as an adoring and supportive male role model in all of your lives, I know that Eddie will surely never be forgotten. Honey, I vividly remember standing with you at your wedding, how crazy you were about each other, how lucky you were to find one another and commit yourselves to each other. I remember Eddie telling me that he felt that he was the luckiest man in the world. I'm only sorry I cannot be with you in person for your memorial tribute as you bid him a very fond farewell. I know that he truly adored and loved each of you. May you ever remember him as he would wish to be remembered. Please know I'm with you in spirit across distance in these challenging times. Honey, please heal well with patience, following your doctor's orders so that you can continue to be an extraordinary mother, grandmother, and friend. In abiding friendship, David. Eddie was good. A gute neshama, as we say in Yiddish. A kind and sweet soul, a mensch, a gentleman, with a great sense of humor, known for his dad jokes. They were corny and he knew it. And still everyone laughed. He was talkative, friendly, and kind, a storyteller and an author. His stories would oftentimes begin, when I lived in San Antonio, when I was an optometrist, when I was in the Air Force, and so on and so on. Eddie was a people person, truly interested in you and in every single person that he met. Getting to know them, he was curious at heart. He wanted to know all about the world. He wanted to know where people were from, how they grew up, what culture they had. A great conversationalist, a voracious reader, a public speaker, member of Toastmasters, a politician and leader, former mayor of Woodmere. He was fair-minded and just, even-tempered, calm, cool, and collected, thoughtful, intelligent, a helper. He wanted to give the gift of sight and ensure that all could see clearly and safely. Born and raised here in Cleveland, Eddie graduated from Heights High, a member of the marching band, and then on to his beloved Ohio State. He loved everything OSU, Ohio State, and president of the Young Republicans. An optometrist by profession, practicing for more than 58 years, he loved helping people. Whether it was the patients in his practice, the nursing home residents he would travel to care for, the inmates in the prison that he also took care of, he couldn't come home at night until he made sure that everyone had the glasses that he made for them, had their new pair, so they could see just right, oftentimes making late night visits to the nursing home and then staying for a while to talk in kibbutz with every single patient that he did his delivery to. Eddie and Honey were set up by friends. He was the eye doctor, the older man, and as he came to pick you up, Honey, that night that Natalie talked about, he came to the house and he thought that he met the woman of his dreams, but it wasn't you, Honey, it was Mrs. Spitzer. the older nanny or housekeeper that was in the house. Well, of course, he was there for you, honey. You were in your ponytail, a little bit younger, and he was smitten. As we say, the rest is history. You were married more than 32 years ago, raising your family together. Natalie, Jonathan, and Hallie. And on your first anniversary, you took out Mrs. Spitzer, since she was such a special part of that first meeting. We're glad that Eddie found you. You told me how you appreciated how Eddie balanced you, complimented you, completed you. You had an incredible partnership and an incredible love. Together you loved to entertain, to go to the theater, to the movies, and just talk. You always had great conversations about the news and the world and life, and do everything with the kids together. You took care of each other. And as Eddie's health declined, you were his caregiver. You were his everything. You already heard he was a great father, fun and funny. He would just have so much fun with you. He'd take you skiing. At Jonathan and Matthew's wedding, he gave the best speech. He adored Hallie and always took great care of her, looking after her. And when he became a grandfather, Eddie was over the moon. Whenever he'd hear about Evan and Dylan or see them, his eyes would light up with a special twinkle. He was a golfer at heart. He wasn't so good. He won the D division at Lake Forest, known as the best of the worst. And when you'd be down in Florida, he'd love to take you golfing, of course, with a cigar. A proud Jew, a fierce supporter of Israel, a history nut that would read up everything on Israel. He always led the whole Passover Seder. He was very active in the Jewish community. He trained to be a docent at the Maltz Museum, a longtime member of B'nai Yeshurun, often joining Honey when you would volunteer at the synagogue. He loved his time at the JCC with the men's club, working out, usually falling, and then talking to his friends the rest of the day. He never met anything that didn't taste better with ketchup. He loved his coconut bars and the birthday bashes you put on for him. He loved Seinfeld and Florida diners, a gardener extraordinaire. No matter where you lived, he had his garden. Sometimes it was a huge 36-foot garden, but it shrunk down over the years to a few beds. He loved his gardening, and he took great pride in it. And this was a quote about his gardening, I think, from Leslie. Eddie loved to grow vegetables. We enjoyed talking about gardening together, especially tomatoes. 2022 was a mediocre year for both of us. We analyzed how we could do better the next year. This summer, we both produced mediocre tomatoes again, but Eddie had a great yield on his other vegetables. His star vegetable this year was the cucumber. Wouldn't you know, he shared his very last one of the season with all of us at a family dinner. Thank you, Eddie. You heard he was a musician, he played clarinet, and, as I said, he was an author. And I had the pleasure of reading some of his book last night. And I'd like to share just a few excerpts. The book that he took great pride in, though he never admitted that he actually wrote it, called Gin Rummy, M&Ms, and Peanuts, How I Spent and Squandered 2,000 Monday Nights by Dr. Barney Newman, as told to Edward S. Friedman. And this is how the book opens. This tale is about gin rummy, the players who participated in the game held every Monday night for 40 years. But in order to save careers, marriages, and reputations, all names and locations have been changed. Not exactly if you've read the book. And then he begins a little more. The city is Cleveland in the eastern suburbs. Barney, even with his long history of mediocrity, average grades, average career success, average income, perennial second-string athlete, high golf handicap, is unusually qualified to write this story with complete objectivity. And it tells the story of Barney, an optometrist, who was a frustrated jet pilot forced to be a ground pounder during his tour of duty in the Air Force. Well, we all love Barney, Eddie. And this is how he ended up. The game was always on Monday night and was therefore called the Thursday night gin rummy game. Played for entertainment, male bonding, trash talking. There was never a good winner. And he concludes with this description of Barney, quote unquote. Barney is a caring soul, unparalleled in kindness toward others. He never refused a favor from a friend, nor did he turn a deaf ear to those who needed to lean on his. And he loved the Thursday night gin rummy game played on Monday night. And that's our Eddie, or Barney, a caring soul, unparalleled in kindness toward others, never refusing a favor, always being someone we can lean on. May Eddie always be remembered for his love, his light, his kindness, his jokes, and his smile. May his name bring blessings, and we say, Amen. We'll rise as the cantor's going to recite the memorial prayer, and then we're going to lower the casket. Only if you're able.
אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המציא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע, והזהירים, את נשמת יחזקאל בן אפרים שלח לעולמו. בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו, ענה בעל הרחמים, הסתירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of our beloved Eddie Friedman, who has gone to his eternal home. We ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May his soul be bound up in the bond of life. May he rest in peace. And we say,
Amen.
Amen.
At this point, we're going to lower the casket, and after that, then we'll perform the mitzvah of shoveling earth on the casket and conclude with the mourner's kaddish. You can sit back down if you